ഇന്റർനെറ്റിന്റെ കാലത്ത്, ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് വെൻ ദ ഇന്റർനെറ്റ്, ഒരു 90കളിൽ ഇന്റർനെറ്റ് ഒക്കെ ഇവിടെ വരുന്ന സമയത്ത്, യാഹു ഒക്കെ അവിടെ വരുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഒരു മലയാളി ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, അജിത് ബാലകൃഷ്ണൻ സർ. സ്ക്രീനിലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടുവരാവോ? ഹി വാസ് സപ്പോസ് ടു ബി ഹിയർ ടുഡേ വിത്ത് അസ്. അൺഫോർച്ചുനേറ്റ്ലി അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഹെൽത്ത് കണ്ടീഷൻ ഇതാണ്. പിന്നെ നമ്മുടെ ഒരു കണക്ടിവിറ്റിയുടെ ഒരു പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ട്. ഫ്ലൈറ്റ്, ഇദ്ദേഹം ഇവിടെ വന്ന് ഇന്ന് 1 മണിക്കൂർ സെഷന് വരണമെങ്കിൽ he has to spend 3 days here. അപ്പോൾ ഡോക്ടറെ അനുവദിക്കുന്നില്ല. So he was not able to come here, but he is a person who had done it. റെഡിഫ് മെയിൽ കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ എല്ലാവരും? റെഡിഫ് മെയിൽ യാഹു വന്ന സമയത്ത് അതിനോടൊപ്പം ഇന്ത്യയിൽ നിന്നൊരു കമ്പനി ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, റെഡിഫ്. ആൻഡ് മലയാളിയാണ് അത് ചെയ്തതെന്ന് എത്ര പേർക്ക് അറിയാം? യെസ്. ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ് ഗോട്ട് ലിസ്റ്റഡ് ഇൻ NASDAQ in I think 2001. I will correct if I am wrong. പക്ഷേ നമ്മൾ ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ട് ഈ മത്സരത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ഇന്റർനെറ്റിന്റെ കാലത്തിൽ തെളിയിച്ച മലയാളികളുണ്ട്. ആൻഡ് സർ, ഹായ്, വെൽക്കം. കേൾക്കാം. അപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു പ്രസൻസ് തന്നെ നമുക്ക് ഇൻസ്പിറേഷൻ, നമുക്കിതൊക്കെ ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയും എന്നുള്ളൊരു ഇതാണ് കാലത്ത്. അപ്പോൾ സർ വെൽക്കം. ആൻഡ് സാറ്, ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു പ്രസൻറ്റേഷനോ കാര്യങ്ങളോ അല്ല, നമുക്ക് സാറിൻ്റെ കഥയാണ് കേൾക്കേണ്ടത്. അപ്പോൾ ജയശങ്കർ സാറാണ് ആദ്യം സാറുമായിട്ട് സംസാരിച്ചത്.
Able to hear my voice now?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay.
So Jayashankar here, and welcome to the Beyond Port 80. I think if you have been listening to Deepu, the essence of what he's trying to do has been spread out, and the entire audience is waiting to hear from you, sir. Welcome once again.
Okay. You want?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Shall we start?
Yes, sure.
Okay. I think I'm a Kannur boy, born and brought up the first 15 years of my life in Kannur, as you probably know. And now I'm in Bombay, more or less living here. I come to Kannur for Onam, Vishu and New Year to watch the football matches and et cetera. Now the important thing is, I went from Kannur, then after finishing college, joined IIM Calcutta, and that was many years ago, 1971. From there, I had many job offers from Tatas and Hindustan Lever, etc. But I decided to go and start an advertising agency in Bombay. Okay, why advertising? Because at that time, and this is a very important lesson to all of us, at that time there were a lot of chemical innovations going on, detergents, soaps, cosmetics, and so on, where the big companies like Levers and others could not make a different product. They all had a standard commoditized product. So they looked to ad agencies to make a difference, create something called a brand which is different from each other. And so we jumped into it, and I founded Rediffusion. That was in 1972 something. And 8 years later, I saw the internet sparking up, because I had spent a lot of time in Bangalore at that time, being an investor and a managing director of a company which made India's first personal computer called the PSI, Action Station. But then I saw the internet coming, and I sold my stake at PSI and started Rediff.com in 1993. As I love to point out to my friends in America, about 4 years before Google and many years before Facebook, etc. But being an entrepreneur is a very interesting challenge then and even today. I think people in Kannur know that. I think I haven't come to Trivandrum for quite some time, but we have a startup center there in which I helped fund all the good work being done by the Kannur University people like Professor Faisal and all that. And there it is I can see the excitement. There are 8 or 10, 15 startups in that startup center in Kannur University at any time. I can see the creativity that is bursting through their eyes. So something like that, I think, I'm sure is going to happen in Trivandrum as well. And I'd love to have a few questions from you folks, Yeah.
So can I the dot-com burst, you have literally survived it. So how was it anticipated, and how did you survive that? I think we'll start from there.
I must tell you that story. You know, when a company got listed, it was listed in New York NASDAQ. That's around 2000 something. And I decided, I told my wife, let's both go and live in New York for not more than about 3 years or 4 years. The idea is we have to find out, you know, who these people are, how do they deal with each other. You know, I was having been brought up in Kannur and Bombay and to some extent in Calcutta. I had no idea these foreigners really behave. So I could take them out for a drink and listen to their talk, etc. So that we went to New York. But one day, about a year or two after we went there, one day there was a big bang, and then, you know, we were very close to the World Trade Center, my office. I looked up and saw the second plane come and hit World Trade Center. I saw it with my own eyes, and I thought, my God, what is going to happen now? And my company was listed. All companies sank in market cap by 90%. Because people are not sure what is going on. Is the Arabs are going to invade America? So we went through all of that, and suddenly my stock price, which was $30, $25 to $30 per share in New York, suddenly crashed to 2 or 3. Well, you know, so it was not easy to weather that downfall, but we were very careful. The point I'm making is each one of us who starts out to become an entrepreneur, some external catastrophe is very likely to happen, which is once in your lifetime. Put your head down, don't get worried, you cut your costs and survive, conserve your cash and survive so that you can go to the next step. So that's the main finding. So I think, yeah. Okay?
Hi, sir. Cameras. So my name is Deebraj. Just a curious question, like, what was the inspiration to the formation of Rediff?
Rediff.com?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I was getting, while I was at PSI Data Systems in Bangalore, I was very intimately involved in, as I said, creating and building India's first personal computer. And at that time, I got fascinated with everything technology. You know, when I was at IIM Calcutta, I learned to code in Fortran. At the very beginning, at the only mainframes, there were no PCs in those days, no? 1971. So I took to coding, and as soon as the first HTML code appeared, I started writing code myself. And that's something I do even today. I spend about 3-4 hours a day writing Python code just to follow what's going on in AI. Yeah. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so the inspiration was to, when the World Wide WWW it started, I knew that this is going to change the world. So I went and immediately founded Rediff.com somewhere in 1972, 73. And no, I'm sorry, it's not 82, 83. And then what's, crisis after crisis, innovation after innovation coming every day. And one of the challenges that all Indian entrepreneurs need to worry about, and I think all of you should keep your eyes open, is the Indian domestic market for new technology is very, very small. Huh? Indians are very relatively late adopters. So if you hope that your new technology can be sold only to Indian consumers, you'll have to wait for 10 years. Huh? But I did. I stuck it out. I stuck it out and say, many of my friends and colleagues, they all emigrated to America to do their business, and some of them are doing very well, and most of them are doing very well. But I was not tempted to emigrate to any place, America, England. So I wanted to stay around and see what we could do on the internet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I wrote the code to create the first Rediff mail browser. I wrote the code myself. So I'm very proud of that. Yeah. Wasn't it? Oh, clap, clap. Something has struck a chord. I know. Okay. Oh God, what's happened? Sound is gone, is it?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. My name is Hari Kumar. I'm a journalist. I wanted to ask you one thing. You launched your product in 96, I guess. It is 2025. In 3 decades, we have not seen such a product come from Kerala. Why? What are we lacking?
What I'm saying, what are people in Kerala?
Not launching a product like what you did 30 years back.
Some of it is, I very honestly say in the Indian middle class, which I come from one. My father was a doctor, my grandfather was a doctor, etc., etc. Indian middle class frowns upon people who, quote unquote, want to start a business. The business, when I was growing up in Kerala until very late, meant that you open a shop and sit at the shop as the owner of the shop. So it is one of the middle class hang-ups is that you have a good education, you're a topper at IIM or an IIT or any engineering college, and then your duty is to go and work abroad and earn some money and send it back to us in India. So I think one of it is cultural, because there is and I'm happy to say it's not, you think it's only in Kerala, it is not true. It's true even in Bombay or in Bangalore where I lived for 9 years. 99% of parents think success means getting a job in a multinational company and paying high salaries. So I think it's a cultural issue, it is nothing to do with anything else.
How can we change that? What can we do to create an environment to encourage product makers who are struggling against this?
One of it is be an example yourself, as I try to. I always emphasize that my father was a doctor, my grandfather was a doctor from both sides, and with the result that when I ready to start my first business, my grandfather was a doctor running a hospital in Salem. Told me, Ajit, won't your education be wasted if you start a business? So we have a negative view of business, but it's changing. I can change it because when I go to Kannur always for Onam, Vishu and New Year, and at that time I see that the general number of people, youngsters who want to come and hear about the life of an entrepreneur, about 400-500 students each time I speak about what it takes to do a startup. So I think things are changing. It's not, and it's not, contrary to what many of us think, it's not only in Kerala. The Indian middle class rather play safe, get an IT services job, be posted abroad, earn some 50 lakhs here, of which you'll send home every month 1 or 2 lakhs so your parents can live well. That's okay.
Yeah, sir. So a follow-up question. So are you an entrepreneur by chance or are you an entrepreneur by circumstances?
It's something I have reflected on a long time. When I said my father is a doctor, he is like people of the generation went to Stanley Medical College, and World War was going on. He joined the army, and he was an army doctor, was posted to Burma, like all the classic middle class thing. But when he came back, he went to private practice, and he was running an eye hospital in Kannur, and that is a business actually. Then I reflected for a little while and realized that there are many types of businesses. There are trading businesses, which you buy from someone and sell to others, or there are a doctor running a hospital, which my grandfather also did. He also ran a hospital in Salem, using technical expertise to create a service which people will be of service to humanity, and at the same time, you can charge and make money as well. So that is the one thing which made me think, yeah, let me do something on my own, like my father and grandfather, but not anything to do with trading. Using some exam. In my father's and grandfather's case, it was their medical knowledge, and in my case, it is knowledge of coding and programming and analysis of the market and things of that kind. So that is what made me shift,
And one very philosophical question. At this young age of yours, what does wealth mean to you today?
What does wealth meant?
Yeah.
No, there is a newspaper headline saying billionaire and, ex-unicorn, etc. My humble suggestion is don't go for those kind of madness. Okay, what is it you need at the end of your career, maybe when you're in your mid-60s, if you have about got 40, 50 crores in the bank and a home to stay in, you can live an excellent life. Also, you have to say that you make that amount of money, not you don't need to have $1 billion to live a good life. Okay? At the same time, you have money to buy books, etc., etc. So there's a moderation needed. I think our stock market wallahs love to promote the idea of unicorn, unicorn, unicorn. But their theories maximizing shareholder wealth is the goal of life. I don't buy that. It depends on what your business does. For example, Rediff.com and the Rediff Mail business, for years we've helped Government of India with security problems by not even charging them 1 rupee. If they have a problem if some site, government site got hacked, we lie down and get it solved for them. So public service mixed with your personal drive for success. Of course, your business must make a profit to make sure you can pay your employees and you can make the capital investment needed, etc., etc. Okay? Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
very quick question. As you have witnessed the dot-com boom yourself, and now we are going through an AI boom, do you see any
Yeah.
similarities between these two booms or any patterns?
There is always there's similarity in the patterns. In the beginning, a few people master the technology needed and they take off. Okay, and they create huge drama about it. At the moment, it's ChatGPT and to some extent Gemini. They're excellent products. I use them every day. But I think what will happen is the use of AI in areas like improving medical services, legal services, etc., is yet to come. At the moment, in the initial phase, like in any other tech hype, there is more hype than anything in real. Sorry. So I think the productive part of AI is about to start. In the next year or two, you will find medical care cheaper. At the moment, people are worrying if that happens, will doctors lose their job? I don't think surgeons and others will lose their job, but medical care, which today an auto rickshaw driver in Bombay cannot afford what a general practitioner charges a minimum of 1,000 rupees to go to. He can't afford it. So many of the common treatments he can get on his phone by speaking to an AI will advise him. So I think the use in terms of making doctors available, the medical care, medical diagnosis, legal help, all that will come, and that will make life much easier for the average common man on the street. I think that's where you go. At the moment, it's going through a super hype.
I have seen, I know a few health AI startup founders myself, and also a few startup founders of the legal team. With regards to health, I have seen the main issues basically compliance. That you need a lot of certification in order to, deploy AI in the healthcare sector. Do you think the government will, create any
Yes.
levages?
They will soon simplify it. I served on several committees. I think when I started the internet and many about 50, 100 others jumped in, there was no law there was no act of government which allowed this to happen. So the Information Technology Act had to be amended. So I went to Delhi, spoke to the secretaries and bureaucrats concerned, and they said, sir, you, Ajit ji, you start a committee. They formed a committee, made me the chairman, and I wrote the sections which allowed a term called intermediary, which is what's needed to make the internet work. So I got it done. So I think current era also, I'm also very subtly lobbying with my friends and connections in Delhi to make sure that enough legislation is brought to make sure that good examples of medical care, legal care, all that stuff can be done. So it'll happen, don't worry. Maximum a year to year and a half. Maximum. It'll
Thank you.
happen. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Hello, check.
Yeah.
Sir, it's an honor, it's a privilege to meet you, even though it's just
When
virtually.
you say all that, I feel very shy and I feel like dropping out. Don't say this.
Well, I just want to tell this June crowd, not an August crowd over here, that we are in the presence of greatness. when Mr. Ajit Balakrishnan is on this
Hey,
screen.
please don't say all that, you'll scare me.
Okay, I'm going to scare you a bit more because I come from that school of advertising with Ogilvy and all this. It's a long story. But having said that, I have a question for you. Do you think, in your personal opinion, do you think with all the activity that's going on, especially in the .com and AI and all that that's happening in Kerala, do you think Kerala is in a state of transition from the kind of brand it is normally taken for as God's own country, as a tourism hub, into a techno center of the region, not just India, of the region? My opinion, I mean, I just want to hear your opinion, please.
Well, I'm sure it will, but let me give you an example. When sometimes I make a presentation at a major conference in Delhi, or, 7 days ago, they used to make me do it every second day. And they asked me, where are you from? I said, I was born in Kannur, but I live in Bombay. They said, isn't Kannur the Marxist capital of Kerala? I said, yes, good people like Pinarayi Vijayan are also from Kannur district. No problem. Then they say, if that is so, then how can you be such tech-oriented guy? Why are you not a leftist? I tell them, my belief in leftism means compassion for the underprivileged and people who don't have wealth and money. That is something I think most Malayalis share wherever whether you're a leftist or a rightist or whatever. So I don't think it's an issue. I think the leftism in Kerala as expressed is not like Stalin or Mao. I think it's a concern for the underprivileged, the people who are uneducated, need some chance to get ahead in life. So in that sense, there'll be no obstacle, and Kerala should take on, they should take on things like responsible AI, and there's a whole subject there just to make sure that legislation is passed and allow startups to offer very good services and save people a lot of money in getting legal services, medical services, and all kinds of things. So I do not believe there will be any problem. Because I said in Kannur, when I go for Onam, Vishu, New Year, 10 days each, I think these kids make me talk to them, and an audience is about 700-800 people at Kannur University. All of them similarly saying, "What will happen? What shall we try? What shall we do?" I don't see any fear of AI or anything negative there. None at all.
Thank you. Because that sort of confirms what I've been hearing from a lot of people, a lot of thinkers, even from abroad. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Okay. Can't hear you. I can't hear you. What's like? Who's speaking? I can't hear.
Yeah, sir, myself Abraham. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I am currently building a prop tech platform. So I would like to know, like, what kind of tech culture or what kind of talent philosophy, like, you applied to build and retain the tech team in the initial days, the early days.
In the early days, they all joined because they said, "Oh, working with Mr. Balakrishnan, we learned what HTML is, JavaScript is, etc., etc." But dealing with turnover is a challenge because once many of these kids learn something, they can get a job in America at 10, 20 times what you can afford to pay in India, however well you pay them. That's part of the challenge. But I think you can easily retain a youngster for 7, 8 years very easily. After that, they will want to do the PhD or join Google in San Francisco and so on and so forth. That's part of the challenge. It's not that you will be immediately bereft. But the tech pool is so large, and each year they're improving and becoming 5 times brighter than the previous year. So you'll never face a shortage, but you have to do things like things like stock options, and there are various ways to retain very good talent. So I don't think a challenge in other Europe and so on. The problem is they don't have any young people learning who have some sense of programming. We don't have that problem. We produce a few lakhs of them every year, so you don't worry about it. It won't happen. But retaining talent at all times is a challenge. It will never become a placid area. Yeah. Anything else?
Hello, one more final
Yeah.
question. So we are awaiting you here, and you promised like you will be coming one day soon to meet us all. So when can we expect that? That is the final question that we have.
Come to Kannur and meet me. Onam, Vishu and New Year.
Okay.
Come and see the lovely hometown of mine.
Okay.
Full of leftists and full of computer coders, both.
Okay. Thank you.
Don't worry, I'll come one of these days. Don't worry, I'll come one.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, we are really inspired to listen to your story. And if you wish to continue to listen to the rest also,
Unfortunately, I had some conference calls predicted, but
Okay,
I'm
okay.
sure you'll send me a report or
Yes,
something on it.
yes.
Keep me updated.
There is a white
My
paper also.
apologies for not being physically there, guys.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, all
I didn't
right.
want my call to be communicated to all of you. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. We'll sign off.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Thank you, sir.